Hello everyone, this is Charlie again as always. Just want to talk to you today about the possibility that we may have our enemies completely wrong, that it may not actually be those in the tops of government and the tops of corporations and the people who are spreading disease and famine and hatred around the world that we need to be concerned about. Perhaps there's something hidden in absolute plain sight that we are disregarding because it's too scary, it's too obvious, it's too in our face, the reality that perhaps it's the general public, what we call the masses, that are the greatest threat to human development possible. I mentioned in a video recently called Thoughts on the Resistance that we can't really know for sure the true population of human beings on this planet when we have so many people who act in a totally anti-human manner, in which case I wouldn't call them human. People who are able to keep slaves, and I mean modern day slaves, people who are able to work in weapons factories and know that the weapons that they create are to be used to rip apart innocent people on the other side of the world. Policemen who take absolute glee in brutalizing prisoners that they bring into custody, knowing full well that these are traumatized human beings in need of help rather than punishment. Judges who are able to send children to correctional facilities whilst taking a profit from the privately run correctional facility. These aren't people at the top of the Illuminati. These aren't people who are Zionist elders sitting around in underground bases deciding what to do with life. These are our brothers and our sisters. These are our family. These are our friends. These are the people that we see every single day on public transport and in other cars driving past on the motorway. They are the general public. It's been said many times that people will take a government that they deserve, or they will have imposed upon them a government that they deserve, and it does seem to be the case. We have the revelations from WikiLeaks being released just now, which I haven't read through because I find these things too harrowing. I need no more evidence as to how evil warfare is in a modern setting. I need no more evidence to know how groups will use propaganda and brainwashing to try and keep the general public stupid and docile and separate. I saw the highlights from the WikiLeaks document. I saw the fact that people in the military are quite happy to abuse and torture and murder, very plainly. I saw the video of that man walking past that supposed terrorist target, and the helicopter pilots knowing, they knew there was an innocent civilian walking past, and they blew it up, and you saw the very last few moments of that man's life. And as I said on the radio show the other night on VTV, I couldn't imagine going for dinner with people who are capable of doing that. And I saw that very same inhuman treatment when I was in the Torontonomo Bay in Toronto at the film studios, when I was in my cage and I was rattling the cage screaming, I'm a human being, I'm a human being, you can't freeze me like this, you can't just treat me like this. And I was starting to go mad, and this horrible woman came waddling over and she says, hey, this is your punishment, it's not meant to be comfortable, you're a prisoner, so stop complaining. And she almost had this kind of enjoyment at telling me what to do and enjoying the fact that she was on one side of the cage and I was on the other. It may very well be that the fact, it may very well be a fact that the Earth and this planet is just another circle of hell, and that most people we see, these allegedly sentient creatures running on the surface, are just demons, and heaven and hell is right here on Earth. There is a big cosmic battle between people who seem to have an ounce of humanity and care, people who whistleblow, people who say no in their corporations, people who refuse to be part of these things, these wonderful Israeli children who refuse to join the Israeli Defense Force. These are human beings, and maybe the vast majority, 95%, are just demons. So we live in a world of conflict, we live in a world of evil, we live in a world of people not caring, and it comes right close to me. It's not just concepts I read about in the newspaper or watch on YouTube. It's my family members, people I I spend time with, people who just don't give a fuck. And apathy is a great dangerous thing. And if any of you have seen the film Dogville, starring Nicole Kidman, it's got a very interesting message. It's a Gus Van Sant movie, and a very interesting message at the end. I don't want to ruin it for anyone, but what happened was she didn't forgive the townspeople who brutalized her and raped her and treated her badly, because she wasn't going to patronize them by judging them by their standards. She was going to judge them by her standards, because if you have standards for yourself as to what a human being should be and what care should be and what, wonderfulness is, you will ascribe that to other people. And it happens so much in cities. You hear stories of people walking down the street and they see someone get mugged, or they see a girl get attacked, or they see someone getting beaten up, and they just walk on by. And there was a story in the newspaper in London, which I've just left. I've moved to Cambridge now, but in London there was a guy on a bus who asked some teenagers to turn down the music on their stereos because it was loud, and one of them came over and stabbed him in the neck, and he was spouting blood from his neck, and he was begging the other passengers, please help me, get an ambulance. And he was ignored, and the passengers moved away from him and went downstairs on the double-decker bus. And no one called an ambulance. And this guy, I don't know how he got help, but he obviously survived. He has lost a lot of love for humanity. And the important thing is to not lose faith. We will see people who will show some glorious humanity, and it will restore our faith in people. But I just want to say that these tiny minorities at the top, in the White House, in the private banks, the Greenspans, the Rahm Emanuels, the Rockefellers, the Rothschilds, these are a tiny minority, and they need a giant army of demons and evil people around them, or people who just don't care, in order for this pyramid to work. So the main message of this film is don't feel that you're powerless because you can't grab Tony Blair around the neck, or don't feel you're powerless because you can't throw David Rockefeller in jail. Your enemy, the people who are demons in this kind of seventh circle of hell called Earth, are all around you. They're in the street. They're the people in uniform who will quite happily walk around and throw their weight around. They're the bullies in the school playground. They're the people who look the other way when horror happens. And it was Martin Luther King, I don't know the exact quote, but he said that people who remain neutral when evil is going on are as bad, if not worse, than the evildoers themselves. Because if we try and think of evil as a disease, as a problem, then it's the good people who do nothing that have the double problem. I was watching a video, it was a guy from within the Venus Project sent me a video by someone, Luigi Zimbardo. He did the Stanford prison experiment, and he came up with a concept called the Lucifer complex, or the Lucifer effect, about how good people are driven to do bad things because of their environment. I have to fully reject the findings of that experiment, because I don't think it's environments that turn people bad. If that were the case, we'd have the entire population of India or Africa, or in Brazil, the poor people. They would all be violent, nasty, horrible people. But the fact remains that in poor conditions, and really troubling and harsh and evil conditions, you will have amazing people who will struggle and do what they can and try and help their fellow human beings. So I reject Zimbardo's findings, which tries to think of us as kind of reactionary machines to an environment. The fact is, every single person, every single human being is conscious and able to make a moral and ethical choice based on the environment around them. And you either choose or you choose not to be part of it. So Zimbardo, I'm sorry, your findings don't fly with me. Human beings are not reactionary fools. Those people at Abu Ghraib prison, they are fully responsible for their actions. They are not good people turned bad by brutality. They are fucking arseholes who seem to enjoy brutalizing those Iraqi prisoners. Sometimes I despair. I totally despair at this world, because like, what the hell is really going on? I don't know. And that's why I do these videos. That's why I do these films, because I'm trying to find out myself. Anyway, take care of yourselves and take care of each other.